The legislative process in Indian states involves various actors, including ministers and the Advocate General. Despite holding influential positions, they do not possess voting rights in the legislature. Ministers, being members of the executive branch, play a crucial role in introducing and piloting bills. They shape legislation based on government policy and public interest. The Advocate General, the state's legal advisor, provides expert legal opinion on bills. They ensure that proposed laws are legally sound and align with the Constitution. While they cannot vote, their expertise and influence significantly impact the legislative process. The Advocate General's role is particularly important in scrutinizing bills for potential legal conflicts or ambiguities. Ministers, through debates and discussions, strive to build consensus and garner support for the government's legislative agenda. Their active participation ensures that laws reflect the government's vision and address the state's needs. Thus, while they lack voting power, ministers and the Advocate General play vital roles in shaping and guiding legislation. Their contributions ensure a robust and well-informed legislative process. An ordinary bill's journey through the state legislature differs based on whether the state has a unicameral or bicameral system. In a unicameral system with only a legislative assembly, the process is more straightforward. The bill is introduced, discussed, and voted on solely within the assembly. If passed, it is sent to the governor for assent. In a bicameral system with both a legislative assembly and a legislative council, the process is more elaborate. The bill, typically introduced in the assembly, undergoes 3 readings: introduction, general discussion, and detailed clause-by-clause scrutiny. After passing these stages and potential amendments, the bill moves to the Legislative Council. The Council can further discuss, amend, or delay the bill. However, the Assembly holds greater legislative authority. If the Council rejects the bill or proposes amendments unacceptable to the Assembly can ultimately override the Council's decision. The relationship between the Legislative Assembly and the Legislative Council highlights the dynamics of a bicameral system. While both participate in the legislative process, the Assembly enjoys greater power. The Council, often considered a revising chamber, can scrutinize and suggest changes to bills. It can delay a bill for up to 4 months, prompting further deliberation. However, the Assembly's power to override the Council's decisions underscores its dominant role. This difference in authority stems from the Assembly's direct mandate from the people. Its members are directly elected, reflecting the electorate's will. In contrast, the Council is indirectly elected, with members representing various constituencies like local bodies, graduates, and teachers. This distinction in representation translates to the Assembly having the final say in the legislative process, ensuring that laws ultimately reflect the people's mandate. Section 4. The Governor's role in bill assent. Once a bill passes through the state legislature, it requires the Governor's assent to become law. The Governor, appointed by the President, plays a crucial role in this final stage. The Governor has several options: grant assent, withhold assent, return the bill for reconsideration, or reserve it for the President's consideration. Granting assent signifies agreement with the bill, allowing it to become law. Withholding assent effectively vetoes the bill, preventing it from becoming law. Returning the bill for reconsideration prompts the legislature to review and potentially amend the bill. Reserving the bill for the President's consideration usually occurs when the bill significantly impacts the country's interests or raises substantial legal or constitutional concerns. Section 5. The President's role in state legislation. The President's role in state legislation is limited but significant. The President steps in when a bill passed by the state legislature is reserved by the Governor for presidential assent. This reservation usually occurs for bills deemed to have national implications or raise significant constitutional questions. The President has 2 options: grant assent or withhold assent. Granting assent makes the bill a law, while withholding assent effectively vetoes it. The President's decision is final and binding. This process ensures that state legislation aligns with national interests and constitutional principles. Section 6. Checks and balances, timelines, and ultimate authority. The legislative process in Indian states incorporates several checks and balances to ensure thorough deliberation and prevent hasty decisions. The Legislative Council in bicameral systems plays a crucial role in this regard. While it cannot veto bills, its ability to delay them for up to 4 months provides additional time for review and potential reconsideration. This delay mechanism encourages dialogue and consensus building between the two houses. Ultimately, however, the Legislative Assembly holds greater authority. Its power to override the Council's decisions ensures that the final legislative product reflects the will of the people, as represented by the directly elected Assembly members. This system balances the need for careful consideration with the importance of democratic representation. Section 7. The absence of joint sittings in state legislatures. Unlike the Indian Parliament, state legislatures lack a mechanism for joint sittings to resolve disagreements between the Legislative Assembly and the Council. In case of persistent deadlock between the two houses on a bill, no formal platform exists for a joint deliberation and voting. This absence of joint sittings has implications for the legislative process. While it underscores the Assembly's ultimate authority, it limits the potential for compromise and consensus building between the two houses. The lack of a formal mechanism for resolving deadlocks can potentially lead to legislative delays and hinder the passage of crucial legislation. This absence highlights a key difference between the parliamentary and state legislative processes in India.